Hello, everyone. I'm Steve from VALHARTV, and I'm back with a review for Prey. It's currently streaming on Hulu, and I believe it's the number one movie streamed on Hulu right now. So that's pretty awesome. That tells you a little bit of something. So this movie's set 300 years before Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, which I actually really love that movie. I thought it was fantastic. Predators 2, still good, but not as good as Predator 1. We see Danny Glover in it, which I thought was really good. And I mean, I liked it overall. I know a lot of people are wishy-washy about it. Some people like it, some people don't, things like that. But I think it's very good nostalgia. I think, honestly, those two movies were probably the best Predator movies we've seen. Even Alien versus Predator wasn't that great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't, fantastic like the first two. But this movie takes place in 1719, so 300 years in the past, with the Comanche tribe, and we follow the story of Naru and her brother Tabai. I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong, so I won't even really try. But and it really doesn't even follow him; it follows her. Like the IMDb description says, she's a warrior trying to protect her tribe. But throughout the movie, they don't ever talk about warriors in it. They talk about her wanting to be a hunter, to go out and hunt and fish with the guys. And she wants to take this rite of passage to become a hunter. And her brother says, "You're ready to hunt something that is going to hunt you back?" And she's like, "Yes." But we see throughout the movie, she's hesitant. Like when he's talking to her about that, there's like an eagle, or not an eagle, but like a hawk flying with a fish, and she's waiting for it to come back, sort of like circle back around, and her brother's just like pop, shoots it right out of the sky, and he's like, "Do you really think you're ready for this trial?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, I was just waiting for it." He's like, I don't really believe that. And at one point, we see that she's helping out the medicine woman, I believe it is, or one of the girls in the tribe, and the girl says, "Your father left you that tomahawk to cut bread with," and I was like, "Who leaves a girl a tomahawk to cut bread with when you can cut bread with your knife?" I'm like, that's not what the tomahawk is for. And so I kind of was like, that's a little weird. But as we go along, we see her, do gather up some flowers, things like that, which come into play later on in the movie. But we see her also practice with her tomahawk. And she's really good with stationary trees, but the trees that walk, she's not very good at. Sorry, bad dad joke. But yeah, anyway. So we see her try to hunt a deer, but she misses and she's not good at it. So I know a lot of people have said that they feel like she's a Mary Sue. I at first got that impression, especially when she's throwing the axe at the tree and she's hitting the mark right like in the same place like every time. And I was kind of like, I'm like, okay, it's another female protagonist movie, and she's gonna be super good at everything. But then when we see her again, like hunt, she's not good at it. So I was like, wow. I was like, really? I was like, that's a very interesting way to look at to go with this female character. So I was kind of impressed with that. And we do see her learn as she goes along, which again I thought was really good, because we see her not only run into a grizzly bear, but she's basically upwind of it. So when the wind blows, it smells her and it chases her. But we also end up getting to see the predator, and he ends up scaring away a mountain lion that they're trying to hunt because it hurt one of the hunters. And Naru notices all this stuff, and she's like, "I don't think it's a bear that's that's hunting in the woods here." She's like, because the footprints are bigger and they look like they're a person standing there, like feet and stuff, not like a grizzly bear or anything like that. So she's trying to warn them, but they're all like, "Nah, you're just a girl. Don't you're not ready for this. Go back to the tribe. And we end up seeing that they're trying to take her back at one point. But she does encounter the Predator, and especially with the bear, and we see the Predator is into hand-to-hand combat. He doesn't have a lot of gadgets, which I thought was really good, because when we do get to see the Predator, when he's not cloaked, and the cloaking is like honeycombed, which was an interesting choice. But I think it's because they were trying to show that it was less primitive than the 300-year in the future version. So I thought that was really cool. But we get to see even the look of the Predator is a little more primitive. His helmet is not like the full helmet like we see in Predator 1 and 2. Excuse me. But it's more almost like a rawhide type deal. And at one point we do get to see a French fur trapper try to shoot him and ends up getting killed himself by the ricochet. And they come into play because they capture Naru. And we really get to see these really cool scenes. The CGI in this is a little wonky. But again, the budget wasn't a super high budget. And we get to see a lot of practical effects, which is what I really liked. We get to see the Predator with a shield and like a primitive like little sword where he flicks it out and it unrolls. We actually see Naru use it later on. But she also learns as she goes along, too, about the Predator and what he's able to see and not see with because she uses a flower that cools the body temperature. So that way, like, if you're bleeding, it slows the bleeding down. We also get to see her put a rope on a tomahawk so she can just pull it back real quick, which I thought was kind of neat. But she's very unsure until towards the end, in my opinion. She literally goes along and she learns as she studies the Predator. And in the final fight scene, it's just her and the Predator. And he gets caught in her trap. And he's trying to like fire this gun that shoots like arrows. Which, again, I thought was really kind of neat because we see that it misses until the head piece turns on. And she steals it, too. We actually see her shoot the Predator in the back of the head. Which, again, I thought was really kind of neat because it does hurt him. And he's real angry about it. And we go through, and it's a really good origin story for especially Naru and the Predators. Like, this is the first time the Predators have actually ever hunted a human being. And we see that they do have a code of honor where they don't fight or they don't hunt elderly people, children, pregnant women, or anybody who can't really defend themselves. And that's the whole thing with when her and her brother are tied up in a burnt forest. We actually see the ash take away the Predator's cloaking device. And this is where the fur trappers try to trap him, and it was a really good fight scene. Like, he takes one of the traps, throws it at a guy's head, kills him. He's got a shield that he cuts another guy's head off with. Like, the blood and gore in this were really good. And then we see, like, this actual one moment where the trappers try to shoot him, and he just puts his shield up. And then they panic when they're trying to reload because they're only one shot. And he does use a spear, which splits in half for either an axe or a club, which was really cool because we see Naru try to use it too. And we get to see the net that they use in the other movies where it literally crushes a person and just splits them into thousands of pieces, which I actually loved. I thought that part was really cool because I was like, oh my god, I was like, it's the net, dude, he's done. And it just was like, I was like, oh my god, it was so great. So overall, this was a good movie. This was a good origin story because we do get to see the pistol from Predators 2 in this. It says 1715. I can't remember what the guy's name is. I do apologize for that. But yeah, this was a real good throwback to that. And for the simple fact that the practical effects in this were really good, I actually thought it made the movie better. Now, do I want to see a sequel to Prey itself? I don't know. I would kind of like to maybe see it set in different time periods instead. Like we go in, up maybe like like 100 years later, or like 150 maybe, things like that, where we see the technology for humans progress a little more, and we see the predators progress a little more. I think that would kind of be better, maybe. But again, who knows? It depends on how much this movie makes, which I was actually surprised they didn't release it in theaters either, because it was good enough for that. So I would give this at least a 7 out of 10. It was an overall good movie. Let me know what you guys thought down below. Take care for now, everyone.